I just read an article recently where there are over 1 million layoffs between companies like Amazon and Intel and UPS and Microsoft as they try to reduce their workforce, cut costs, and a lot of this is AI driven. I'm not sure how some people are going to survive, especially around the holidays. So in this video, I'm going to show you sort of an unorthodox way to make money. This is how I make money as a reseller, and maybe this will help you bridge the gap between jobs. But I'm going to take you up to a place called the Goodwill Outlet. I'm going to buy a bunch of inventory by the pound and then list it all on the internet in hopes that it sells within a reasonable amount of time. I'm going to show you every single item that I purchase in this video, whether I source it on camera or we take a look at it at home. We're going to total everything up and give a listed value at the end, and then I'm going to show you what everything cost at the end of the day. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of motivation and maybe a little bit of hope that things will be okay in the long run if you stick to it, and maybe this is a way to help you out in the short term. So let's get shopping. Okay, the first thing that we are going to focus on is current trends. I'm getting this item not necessarily because of the item itself. It's the trend that we're following. That's the most important thing. This is a Jordan Craig Paradise hoodie, and it is a streetwear brand that started maybe 30 years ago. So it's sort of new, but it seems like the younger generation especially has an affinity right now for vintage clothing, streetwear, and just better made garments in general. So I'm going to pick this up because I saw the exact same hoodie sell within the last 30 days of the time of the recording of this video for $50 brand new. I'm going to come in at 25. Now it's a little bit heavier since we're buying by the pound at the bins. So it's a couple of pounds. It's going to cost me $4.50. The thing here is the trend is still on an upswing. And what I'm trying to get better at is following those trends and sort of paying attention to what people are wearing, what especially the youth is into, and that one fits all of those boxes right now. So I'm convinced that even at $25 pre-owned at the bins, it still sells. So if you're brand new to all of this, current events, the trends that are happening right now, those are important things to follow. Admittedly, I have focused less on trends in the past. That's changing. I'm trying to pay attention a little bit more, and so I think that's a really good pickup. Jordan Craig hoodies sell. It's not going to sell overnight, but $25 at the bins, it cost me $4.50. We're not doing terrible. That will sell, and it's bright and fun and colorful, and the message on the back is something that probably resonates with a lot of people. So you throw all that into the mix, and we've got our first decent item. So I'm going to continue to dig, and what I like to do, especially if all of these bins are picked over, is get to the bottom, because a lot of times there's stuff that we just didn't reach, we didn't get to. There's a lot of, when new bins come out, we tend to rush to the brand new one, and I'm just as guilty of this as the next person. But it makes sense to go back and kind of get low, if you will, and see if we can't find any little diamonds in the rough. And that's the fun part about shopping at the bins. It's not for everybody. It can be a serious grind, but if you do it enough and you stay consistent, you'll make some things happen. All right, this this t-shirt right here, that's a 45 t-shirt. It's like an olive green color. That's a Huckberry brand. I've sold a good number of those 45 t-shirts in the past, so I know this one is going to sell as well. And it should sell in a decent amount of time. I know we're moving into fall and winter season here, coming into we're at November now, but that's a $20 item right there. And t-shirts probably going to cost what, 40 cents, 50 cents. So that's a good find. Now, the next thing you really want to pay attention to, and I'm kind of guilty of this sometimes, is checking the overall quality of the entire garment. This would have been a $60 to $70 pair of North Face ski pants, but with that amount of damage on the bottom, I just can't pull the trigger. I wanted to, believe me, but when I went in and I looked at solds in this exact same style of pant, the ones that sold that were in pre-owned condition did not have wear like that at the bottom. So I'm going to leave that behind. It would have been a great $60 sale, trust me, and they were a little bit on the heavy side, but I'm going to pass. I'm going to leave it behind. It's early on right now, and so what I'm feeling is more items are going to turn up, and I'm not going to have to rely heavily on making a decision on whether maybe I'll just price that a little bit lower and still pick it up and disclose that there's damage. I'm just going to leave it behind for now. Although, trust me, I am holding on to it, but I did not make the purchase. Now, as I go through, we're going to look at some tags. We're going to assess sort of on the spot if these items are valuable or not. And as always, one of the things that's great about the Dad Planet community of commenters is we're overwhelmingly helpful for one another. So if you see something that you think has value that I passed over, always mention it, because I do definitely want to help as many people as I can. We passed on the Uniqlo hoodie. We're going to pass on Sincerely Jules. This is really cute. It's like this custom cat zip. I mean, super cute. Probably nothing that has resale value. One of those custom jobs. Just kind of fun. You'll see a lot of Old Navy and Gap. It's just one of the things you're going to have to get used to. This Ohio State lacrosse, that I think that had blood on it, or it just had some stains that sort of eliminated it from contention, if you're asking me. But if you notice, I'm trying to get to the bottom. I want to see everything at the end. JM Collection definitely doesn't work. Jennifer Moore, okay, we have nothing there. But as I continued to go, I found an excellent item. Sometimes I have a tendency to gloss over Star Wars items because there's so much of it. But this is an interesting collaboration. So one of the things I always say is no matter what you think about the value of an item or not at first glance, if it is a collaboration, look it up. This is a collab between Star Wars and Mark Echo, and it is a Boba Fett full zip hoodie. I forget the size. It was XL or 2XL. These sell regularly between $50 up to $100 pre-owned. What an excellent find. So if you haven't done this before, look up every single collab. Normally, in most cases, when you see the tag, both names of both brands will be listed either on the tag or somewhere on the garment. In that case, it's in a few different locations, a very specific cut and sew item from Mark Echo, and it is in demand. So I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to list mine between $80 and $100. Now, the next thing that I'm looking at here, American Fighter shirts. These are slow burn, slow sellers, but they always end up selling for me anywhere between $15 and $25. If you do use Google Lens for American Fighter, in most cases, you will find a style name for the shirt. It's not always going to happen, but believe it or not, Google Lens is really your friend when it comes to that. And so what I think happens is when you use the correct or the exact style name for an item, you have a better chance of being connected to a more deliberate and specific buyer rather than someone that's just searching for like, just a random American Fighter shirt that is a size XL that's blue. You are looking for someone that, if they are using that keyword, is looking for that exact style of shirt. They want that exact design. Maybe they've had it in the past. So your keywords definitely matter. And Google Lens is your friend. So remember all of those things. In this trip, I picked up that blue American Fighter shirt, and I'm going to show you the rest of the things that I did pick up that I didn't catch on camera very shortly, but $15, $20, it all adds up. I ended up finding 3, and I will show you all of them in just a second. And now as we improve on the quality of items that we find this trip, the first brand that I want to feature for you is called Wooden Ships. This is going to be a brand that's new to me. It looks as though this is a company that was created and they have a warehouse where everything is done in Bali, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, that area. It is a sole operator and owner of the company, and really like very, very nice quality. That was a Maui V hoodie, or excuse me, that was a Maui V, sort of an open knit sweater from them with the V neck. And it looks like those sell between $30 and $40. I think they retailed for around $150. Now, we're moving into fall and winter, so I'm not sure how long it's going to take me to sell. But this is one of those cases where you will not only find lots of bread and butter items at the bins, but you're going to find high quality, potentially like luxury brands here too. And the luxury items help because you can sell them for more money. Obviously, that keeps your average sales price high. Mine hovers around $50 every year. So that might be just slightly under it, but we're doing great. Brand that's new to me, and I'm happy to share it with you as well. So let's keep looking. And again, we're going to name all of these tags. Pickerington North is a local school to me. That has no value there. This hoodie is just another one of those like eat sleep camp. It's cute, but there's no value there. I can't really use any of that. So we just got to keep digging, and we're going to try to get to the bottom and see if there's something that most of us missed the first time around if we were at these bins. Sometimes I tend to gloss over like fancy pattern dress type items, but I'm trying to pay a little bit more attention to it. Is that CB? I forget what that stands for. If you know what it is in the comment section, feel free to call it out. Here's another one where I got really excited because this brand was brand new to me, made by Monkeys, but when I looked it up, I couldn't really identify if this had any value. I couldn't find any solds. It's like it seemed like a nice high quality quilted jacket, but with no real solds to go on. I'm not going to buy an item if I can help it based on emotion and thinking that, there's somebody out there that's going to buy this because it's wonderful. I'm going to make the logical decision and pass on it. And that's really helped me in my business. So this one here, what is this? Boots to asses. This is one of those like WWE. I think it has something to do with The Rock because I thought I saw The Rock's thing on the bottom. Surprisingly enough, normally like WWE t-shirts, like these are great pickups, bread and butter purposes. That one, no sales at all in the last 90 days. I'm leaving that thing behind. Okay. Again, the quality, the brands, we're continuing to improve. This is a rag and bone. This is like a shirt, a hooded long sleeve shirt. And the color, I feel like I'm really struggling in my old age to discern whether this is gray or this is blue. And I know my phone isn't really helping much, but I think it's gray blue. Let's just call it that since I can't really tell. But it's rag and bone and it's at the bins. I think the style name is Baron, Baron. Don't quote me on that. I'll try to put comparables on the screen if I can find them. And I think that item retailed for between $100 and $150 brand new. So I'm, again, not going to have any problem charging between $30 and $40 for it, depending on what the going rate is. And if I think I can get more, or maybe I have to kind of pump the brakes on it and charge a little bit less. So another one of those instances where we're finding a nice wide variety of bread and butter and luxury items. And I hope that continues because it's not always the case, but if you do this enough, listen, you're going to get lucky. And I'm going to tell you right now, luck favors the well-prepared. So the more that you make an effort to try to do this, if you have the opportunity, you're going to find luxury brands at the bins. It's just a matter of time. Do you see that Hawthorne? I left that back. I think that was a cardigan. Check me if I should not have been leaving that behind. I didn't end up picking that up. And I feel like in my brain, now that I'm rewatching all of this footage, that might have been a thing. But one of the things that you'll learn about me is I don't know it all, and I have a tendency to miss things too, or forget, or whatever. It's chewing bubblegum and trying to walk at the same time. Sometimes that's a struggle for me. Again, okay, let's get to the bottom. Alpine design. I don't know if those were convertible pants or not, but I don't think they are worth anything. So we're going to leave that behind. Forever 21. In the vast majority of cases, I leave that behind. I'm sure there's a market somewhere, but I'm not going to be the one to sell it. That Taylor Swift hoodie, there is a front and a back, but I'm convinced that her items usually either have a full tag or a stamp, and that didn't look like that was an authentic item. So I'm going to leave it behind. Okay, next thing I want to show you. We don't usually associate Banana Republic with high value resale, but this is a collaboration between J. Crew and Mario Vellucci. I didn't even look up who he was. It's an Italian wool peacoat, 2017, so it's not terribly old. Men's size, I think it was a medium. This is in fantastic condition also, so I may or may not have it dry cleaned. It needs to be touched up a little bit. We got fuzzies all over the place, but once I get this photographed and in a condition that I think is suitable to sell, because again, it's not going to take a lot of work to get it prepped, I'm going to list this for $100. I don't equate this brand to like high priced, high value items, but can you believe that? Sometimes it's better to just be lucky and in the right spot than it is having the knowledge previously. One of the most recent trips that I had to the bins, I found a Gap sweatshirt or a Gap sweater that I have listed for $45. And the only reason I listed it for $45 is because I saw the exact same one sell for $45 and the condition held up once I got to see, touch, and feel it. So even these like lower end, and I'm not saying that J. Crew is lower end, but brands you don't suspect sometimes will surprise you. And that's one that absolutely surprises me. Not only that, it's in demand. Those Bellucci J. Crew jackets they sell. So another fantastic find, and just got lucky. So I wanted to share that one with you as well. And it's not even the best jacket that I found. You're going to see here in just a second what I'm referring to now. But we're doing really well with a small sample size here. And like I said, I'm going to show you everything once we get home, everything that I purchased, what I spent for all of these items, and then what I think the overall listed value is going to be. So it's like a 2.5 to 3 hour trip for me this time. Strange breed. This is amazing. Anomaly. Like there's somebody that is going to love this, but again, I'm trying to be as logical as possible. I'm going to look it up. If I don't see any solds, or if I can't find that brand and see if that brand is desirable, I'm definitely going to leave it behind, because I want this to be as accurate of a representation of what you should do and what you can expect when you go to a place like the outlet. And you can find these things in thrift stores as well too. It's just when you're paying by the pound, you happen to get, I think, more for your dollar, especially like in my area where all of the thrift stores, especially the Goodwills, are like raising their prices and trying to get rid of their repeat customers. All right, check this one out. This is a Reformation trolley coat. These are definitely long sold out on their website, places like Nordstrom. I don't think you can find it anywhere. It looks black. Sometimes I get the black and the navy blue mixed up. It's definitely black. I've already photographed it and listed this, so I should know this already. But this coat, I think when it was brand new, retailed for $350. I'm going to have mine listed for $200. The sold comparables lend itself to pricing it in that manner. But Reformation coats, Banana Republic collabs that are valuable, Rag and Bone, lots of bread and butter mixed in. I'll show you some of that here coming up. These are things that are common themes if you show up enough at places like this. So again, whether you're trying to become a more experienced, a better reseller, you're trying to learn new brands, or you're in between jobs, or whatever it is, this is a good way to bridge all those gaps and make a little bit of money. And in some cases, depending on how fruitful your area is, you do very, very well and turn this into a full-time thing. So hopefully this serves as some really good motivation. But that was not the only Reformation piece that somebody sourced at the bins. I saw another one, I think it was a dress that turned up. So lots of good stuff this trip. And there is so much clothing here. My area right now in Columbus, Ohio, the hard goods area is like a lot smaller than it used to be. So while I would rather sell hard goods, I feel like I just do better selling hard goods in general. I'm going to go where I think I have the best opportunity to make the most sales in the shortest amount of time, and that's clothing here in this area. Eventually, they have said that they're committed to expanding the hard goods section back to the size it used to be, but that hasn't happened in a few months now, so I will believe that when I see it. But most of the time, we're just digging through and looking for clothing items because that's what there is the most of. So okay, now that we have seen some of the items that I sourced on camera, we are going to head home and we're going to take a look at the full haul and tally everything up. So let's do that now. Okay, the first couple of items that I want to show you are local to my sourcing area. I source in Columbus, Ohio, but they have high nostalgic value. And so I always reiterate on this channel that if you can figure out what people might want in your local, smaller sourcing area, you might have an advantage to make sales where these items might not otherwise get recognition nationally. So I will still list these on eBay. In fact, I've already sold one of a quantity of 4 that I purchased on one of these items that I'm going to show you here in a second. So I know that I have them priced right, and I know there's a market for them here locally, and it's still sold on eBay. So if you can kind of figure out what's going on around you, you have an advantage where others might skip these items over altogether, and then you miss out on sales. So let me show you these first 2 items quickly. All right, the first item I'm going to show you is the one that I have sold one of already. This is a Wyandotte Lake. It's almost like a not exactly satin, like windbreaker, bomber jacket type thing. Wyandotte Lake closed in 2006. The Columbus Zoo bought it and then turned it into what is now Zoombezi Bay, which is a water park that is attached to the Columbus Zoo. So I have 3 left. I priced these at $33. One of them sold immediately. I do expect to sell all 3 naturally. But there's a lot of people that have very fond memories of when Zumbizi Bay was Wyandotte Lake. And so I took a little bit of a risk. These are each a pound, so they cost me $2.30. And I have them listed for $33. So one of them is already sold. Lots of history regarding Wyandotte Lake and Columbus, Ohio. And then the second item that I'm going to show you is a Cooper Stadium Grounds Crew t-shirt. Now, Cooper Stadium no longer exists. The Columbus Clippers, the AAA affiliate that used to be of the New York Yankees, they're now the AAA affiliate of the Cleveland Guardians, was the stadium that the Clippers played in a long time ago. They're at Huntington Park now, which is downtown Columbus, but there's going to be somebody out there that was either a member of the grounds crew or someone that just really finds this shirt super unique. It's brand new without tags. It doesn't look like it was ever worn. It's a size large. Both of these items have like rich Columbus, Ohio history. And so I'm very confident that all of this is going to sell within a decent amount of time. I have this shirt listed for $30. I think that's fair. And I said again, those are listed for $33. Over here, I'm going to show you really quickly the American Fighter shirts. This is the first one, and I believe these are all size medium, so they definitely came out of the same closet. This one is like white and gray. This one here, like a lighter blue. And again, I have the style names listed in each of the listings. I have each one listed for $20. And then here's the one that we saw on camera. And this one is almost in like new condition. So 20 on each of those, $60, and it definitely all adds up. Next thing I look for pretty heavily when I'm at the bins are hats. So hats, if we're talking about snapback hats, they weigh like usually around 3 to 4 ounces. So if you're doing the math, at $2.29 a pound, it costs about 40 to 50 cents per hat. And that's super cheap. So if you want to accumulate inventory that of course you eventually sell, we don't want to buy things just for the sake of buying them because they're inexpensive. So hopefully there's some type of a market for them. If I can accumulate 5 to 10 hats per trip, I've done very, very well. This trip I could only find 2, but I'm going to show you each of those now and then give you the thought process behind why I picked these 2. Okay, first hat is tailor-made. I sell lots of these hats, so for me this was in good enough condition. It almost looks brand new. In fact, it does look. It looks brand new without the tags. It's got a strap back on the back, M3 on one side, TP5. Again, $15 to $20. It only costs 40 cents. I may be able to list this new without tags. It doesn't look like it was ever worn, and excellent condition. I think I've even sold this exact hat previously, so we'll get that listed. And then this one I found interesting. This is the Grey Cup Festival that takes place in, I think, Ontario. I think this year for 2025 it's in Winnipeg. So it's Canadian, and if a Canadian decides that they want to purchase it, you have to factor in all of the extra costs because it won't be a domestic sale. So that might slow this down a little bit, but this is like a week-long social festival that takes place in Canada. And there's a football game that takes place there. I don't know, it seems pretty cool. This is from 2021. And this one also looks like it's brand new. It's a new era hat, so maybe $20 to $30. Again, I have to pay attention to like what custom fees might be for something like this, so that could affect the sale. But these were the hats that were in like only condition that I could find on a very slow hat and bag day that looked like they would be good enough for my inventory. Not a ton of money here, but it definitely adds up, so always look for hats. Another t-shirt I want to show you, the Electric Forest Festival. This just took place June 19th, 2025. This is like an EDM, electronic music festival that takes place here in Ohio. It's front and back. It has all of the performers and bands. We got Tiesto here, so it looks like it was a pretty solid lineup. And what I've learned about Electric Forest is the tie-dye shirts sell probably the best. And I don't have a tie-dye, but I do have a front and back that's got the bands listed. And I mean, pretty relevant since it just happened. So let's say $20 to $25 on this shirt, just because I'm going to be the only one that's got this style, the skeleton on the front, the bands on the back. Doesn't have to be tie-dye in that case. I have something that I think is unique enough to get $20 to $25, and it's in excellent condition. another one of those things where it's like it may not have been ever been worn. It is an adult medium, but this stuff does sell. It'll sell a little bit slower, but it's just a matter of time. Okay, the last item that I'm going to show you is sort of a wild card item. I'm not exactly sure how I want to price it, but there's a very unique story behind it. So the movie is Mars Need Moms. And back in 2011, Disney held a contest where you had to email in a response to a question from the contest. And it was, if you were Milo, one of the main characters, I'm assuming since I haven't seen the movie, in the movie, how would you save your mother from the Martians? And then at random, they just picked 10 winners. So only 10 of these bags were given out. Now, one of them is currently listed for $200, but I don't see that it has that many watchers. So price-wise, I'm not exactly sure where this is going to land for me. It's a wild card item, like I said before, but let me show it to you really quickly. Okay, here it is. Mars Needs Moms. Really unique and fun, right? I mean, it's a smaller backpack. It looks completely unused, brand new. We might have to touch up the front just a little bit. So I might list it pre-owned and just say it doesn't look like it's been used, but we got maybe a little bit of wear. But this is pretty fun, huh? It's always fun to have the backstory behind an item like this. So only 10 of these exist. I went into Terapeak, which gives you 3 years worth of sales data, and I didn't see any sold. So that $200 listing, you know, maybe they've got it priced high. Maybe there's just not enough demand for something like this, but fun story nonetheless. I mean, let's say at a minimum, $100. Let's list it at 100. I know that's $100 less than the other one, but I'm trying to be as realistic and logical as possible with this listing. So I guess on the conservative end, we'll call it $100. Now, if my math is correct, we total everything up, we are looking at almost $1,000 in listed value. And I don't think I was listing too high on any of a number of those items. So I think we're pretty realistic in the $1,000 range. I spent $49.23, so just under $50. And folks, this is something that anybody can do. If you have access to the Goodwill outlet, that's wonderful. This is easily done inside thrift stores too. So hopefully this motivates you to get out into the thrift stores, go check out the Goodwill outlet if you got one anywhere in the vicinity, and get some items listed and make a few sales. So my name is Brendan. That's all I have for you today. If you want to see more content like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And that's all I have for you. I appreciate each and every one of you, and we'll see you in the next video.